Hello, you Brahmas, to use a curry reference. How are you doing? Today I'm talking about Candace Owen and Ian Carroll and how they disappointed me when I was out for a run. I'll tell you all about it on the other side. So I don't know if you know Ian Carroll. He used to have long hair and now he's got short hair. I don't know why he's done that. I think maybe to make people take him more seriously. He was on the Candace Owen show and I've got it, hands up, I watch Candace Owen because I think she's great. I think the job that she's doing is great. And I also think that the job that Ian Carroll is doing is wonderful too. So they were like nattering away about stuff. And as I was running and I was listening, I downloaded it to my phone because I like to do that, listen to something provocative. And I was listening to what they were saying. And they were talking about how Mr. T, who was the saviour, the perceived saviour of the world, how now that he's in office, the promises that he made, although he has, this is just, I'm just telling you what they said, all right? I've got my opinion as well. They said that the promises that he made, some of the key things, he's not following through on. Not following through on. And that he's getting a bit involved in potential wars. And he's also allowing laws to be passed that stop people from speaking out about things. And when I say speaking out, I'm talking about the influence that these people have in the world. Okay, so that's what I was listening to. And they were also talking about RFK and how he was we thought he was going to come in and it was going to be explosive, and then suddenly it's not. Suddenly it's not. Suddenly he put, this was something that for me I was shocked by. He's always been extremely against this, all kinds. And then he tweeted out that it's very important in the light of the outbreak of the measles that everybody get this because it's the most effective thing. And it's not just this, it's the mRNA and he's telling people to get it. It's like, what the fuck's that about? When he was the one who was really against it. Anyway. So what they were saying was that they believe that there's a lot of blackmail going on, a lot of influence, and that it's the same old. Okay. Now, I'm also watching stuff that happened, and that Mr. T's been doing, and I think that's great. Also, it can't be denied that some of the stuff he's done is incredible. However, it also is very, very visible, his allegiance to certain groups that for no reason other than maybe they've got certain control. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. But my duck was knocked off yet again. I was thinking, bummer, just when we thought, that things were getting sorted and everything. And so I thought, well, I'll run that by the emissaries and see what they say. And they'll probably tell me off or something like that. But they never tell me off, by the way. They just re-guide me when I come off the path. And that's what they did this time. And they said to me, what you're talking about here is a 3D system. And 3D systems are broken. 3D systems will never, ever be fixed because they're not designed to work. They're designed to be very 3D and very not good. And they've said this before, don't expect somebody like Mr. T to come in and fix things. How on earth can he when he's working in a 3D broken system? It's broken. It has no future. It's just not worth anything. The only thing that's going to do is crumble. Okay. So they said it's really good that these kind of people are speaking out and bringing this into the kind of the airwaves a bit, because the hype, the Trump hype is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Just as the other hype about these kind of groups is incredible. It's everywhere. It's like, whoa, what's going on? So they said it's good that people talk about the faults in it. And they said, not because by talking about it, they're going to fix it. And they made that very clear. Talking about the faults in the system will not fix the system. The system is terminally broken. The system is irrevocably broken. And that's a really difficult word to say. And do you know, when I was making the recording, when I was doing this, I tried to say it about 7 times and I couldn't get it out. Let's have another go. Irrevocably, irrevocably, irrevocably. That's the one. Broken. It's broken. You try and say it. It's interesting word. They said the benefit of people talking about it is that it's going to help people to see the faults so that they might turn away, that they turn away from it, that they withdraw their energy. And I think that's really, the amount of energy that's being poured into every single thing, every facial gesture that Mr. T does, every, probably fart, and there would be a number attached to it, gematria, and it would lead you to a cube post, It's just, there's a lot of energy being poured into that. Far too much, I think. Far too much attention. So that's what they're saying, is that really our job is to turn away from that. And, that's a big one, because there's a lot of awakened people who are fully invested in that. They are completely invested in that. And so there's a bit of a job on there, I think. A bit of a job on. And just as an aside, my father-in-law is on that side, the side that we don't really want to be on. And he believes in all of the propaganda and everything. He's a big leftist. And so when we talk to him, and specifically when my wife talks to him, which it's her father, they end up arguing. And of course, I am always saying to her, don't go there. What's the point? He's not listening to you. You're both getting angry. It's a waste of time. And it's very easy to advise people when you're outside of the loop. So it just so happened that yesterday I was sitting next to him, minding my own business, just sitting there. And he started talking about how the fact that I should buy a house to rent out. And I said to him, look, at this point in my life, I'm not interested in getting involved in that. What I'm happy to do is to invest in something that's I know is not going to shift, like gold, that I know I can count on. I'm not going to lose that in terms of value, or it'd be very strange if I did. And I said, and anyway, the price of gold has gone up. I mean, it's gone shooting up. It really has, it's been incredible. And he said, yes, it's Trump. And this was the hilarious thing. I mean, hilarious. I said the price of gold has gone up, and he said, yes, it's Trump's fault. I thought, that's a really strange word to use. It's Trump's fault that the price of gold has gone up. And I said, his fault? I wouldn't use the word fault. And he said, yes, it's his fault because of all of these, what they call in Spanish, the aranceles, and the can't remember the word in English, but it's those quotas that they put on import and export and stuff like that. And he said, because he's put them all up, and the stock exchange has gone down massively. And I said, yeah, but then he froze them, and it went back up again, and it's better than ever. He goes, no, and it's gone back down again. And then he just started sort of on this roll. Elon Musk came up, and he said he's fired Elon Musk now. Musk here in Spain. I didn't recognise when he said Elon Musk, and I was saying, who's that? Elon Musk. You've got to be careful with the English words here. You sometimes don't understand them. And he started going on about him and just saying the usual propaganda shit. And then he said, and did you see what he did? He saluted in an N-A-Z-I way. He is an N-A-Z-I. that was when I went from being on the outskirts thinking, I'm not going to get involved, to, right, I'm involved now. Now you've gone too far. And so I got angry. And man, why did I do that? What is the point? Anyway, I got angry and I was saying, okay, so what do you know about him? And he said, I know what his grandfather was and I know what his dad is. And I said, I'm not interested in them. What do you know about him? What do you know about him that tells you that he is an NAZI other than the one gesture that he made? What else about him tells you that he's that? Because I know about his father and his grandfather. And I said, no, what about him? And so we got into this big debate about it. And I said, so on the face of one gesture, that's the only thing that you've got, you were telling me that he is an NAZI. And he said, no, it's because he's extreme right, because he's helping Trump. I said, so the fact that he's helping Trump makes him extreme right. So is Trump's extreme right as well? Yes, he is. Right, extreme right. Everybody's extreme right. Everybody's extreme right. And I said, really, just a short time ago, Elon Musk was not extreme right. He was on the left. He was on the left. And it was only recently that he moved over when he saw Trump getting thingied in the ear. He said that's really very good, and suddenly he was in that camp. Yeah. Before that they loved him. Before that they loved him on the left. They loved him. He was wonderful. He was somebody to look up to. Look, yeah, the American dream. He's done everything, and he's really good, and he's on the left. And just as an aside, I said to him, so are you saying that if you are far right, you are a NAZI? I'm not saying the word because it's very polemic at the moment. And he said, yes, of course. I said, well, you do know that that party, that man, you do know that he was a socialist. It was a socialist party. It wasn't extreme right. It was a socialist party. And he looked at me and I'd say, what do you mean? What do you mean? I mean, it's absolutely crazy. You know what's happened? What's happened is that I read this little meme and it said, because I only ate animal products and because I wanted peace on the earth and unity, I was on the left. And now I find myself on the far right for wanting exactly the same thing. And this is what they've done to us, right? Which is hilarious. I mean, would I say that my beliefs are stronger than they were 5 years ago? Yes, indeed. But I don't find myself in any other place. I don't find myself in a different place. I'm pretty much in the same area, which was neither left nor right. I didn't really care. But what they've done is they've taken the left-right paradigm and they've just spun it round so that the people who were probably, I mean, you know, if anything, I would say the leaning I would have had would be more to the left, like, you know, live and let live. Do your thing, I'll do my thing. Lovely. Are you happy? Beautiful. And they've taken that and they've shifted the paradigm, and now I'm on the far right. Now I'm far right. And I haven't really moved. What they've done is they've moved all the goalposts. And so I argued with my father-in-law after advising my wife never to do that again, over and over again. So what does that tell you about me? I'm human, and I don't like hearing stupidities, and they annoy me. However, perhaps I should learn to shut the fuck up. When am I going to learn to do that? When? And I'm never going to get trapped. I was trapped. My wife was here and my father-in-law was here and I was in a seat in the middle with a table in front of me, trapped. I'm never going to be trapped again. Never. So coming back to the point, don't expect, you know the expression, let's not try and make a silk purse out of a sow's ear. You know, let's not try and create a castle out of a pile of dog shit. And that's basically what we're hoping that Mr. Trump is going to do. And it's not going to happen. It's just not going to work out. It can't. Just not going to happen because it's broken. So thank you, Candace Owen, for your input, and the other guy, what's he called? Ian Carroll. Thank you for putting it out there. Thank you for bringing me down on my run. But at least I learned a valuable lesson, and I continue to learn valuable lessons. How many valuable lessons do you continue learning as time moves on? One of them, I bet, is knowing when to shut the fuck up, because that's one that it's a work in progress. It is a work in progress. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll speak to you all later. Bye-bye.